All right, salute to the Black Goose TV family. What's good with it? I'm back with some more boxing news for y'all, man. Y'all bear with me when it comes to these videos. They might be a little bit shorter than y'all expected just because, you know what I'm saying, if y'all watched any of the joints from yesterday, I'm dealing with some problems, you know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with some problems. I'm scheduled to get everything fixed and all that good stuff, but, you know what I'm saying, there's a waiting period. So hopefully I'm able to get in there as soon as possible. As of now, they haven't told me the date. So, I'm just going to have to deal with this pain, deal with this bullshit, but it's not going to stop me from giving y'all the content. I just asked Black Goose family, y'all bear with me, man. Y'all bear with me. You know what I'm saying? If you don't see the same type of, energy, or maybe you don't see me talking as much, whatever the case may be, it's because, man, I got a whole lot of pain going on right now. Like, me even doing this is painful, but at the end of the day, the show must go on. That's what they say, right? The show must go on. So the show will continue going. Because most importantly, Black Goose family, I got nothing but love for y'all. And if this is the content y'all want, this is the content y'all gonna get. Just rock with me. It's not gonna be forever, but I'm gonna do the best I can to keep us together. But anyways, we're gonna talk about it. Shawn Porter rates Ugas above Spence. That's what the article is claiming. Now, I did a little bit of it was a quick little reading to see. I'm like, are they, you know me, I gotta see if it's clickbaiters for real, but it seems as if Shawn Porter really said that. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of this particular article a little bit later in this video, but my initial thought when I read this particular title, I'm thinking to myself, like, why was Shawn Porter so open about, basically putting his opinion out in regards to the Ugas fight and the Spence fight? But when it came to people asking the same thing, when it came to Terrence Crawford, he was a lot more subtle about it. When it came to his response, he was a lot more subdued. He didn't necessarily want people to make or have a certain perspective or opinion on who's better, Spence or Terrence Crawford. Or at least that's what I got, because Shawn Porter was very tiptoey around it. Shawn Porter was asked the same exact questions after the Terrence Crawford loss. Like, who do you think is a better fighter, Terrence Crawford or Spence? And he was very tiptoey about it. He was like, and I think part of it probably had to do with Shawn Porter was still in contract with PBC after the Terrence Crawford fight. He obviously, he's probably like, okay, I know it's my retirement fight, but my contract is not up yet. Like, I got to get through this, get paid, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then, obviously I got to wait for the pay-per-view numbers to come back so I can get paid from that. And then I'm officially away from PBC. So it might have been a business thing. I'm being careful. I'm being safe. Let me not parade Terrence Crawford around like he's that much better than Spence, because technically I'm still, in business with PBC. Regardless, us as fans, we can look at the outcome. We can look at, okay, this was the results, and we can say what we want. But what people really want to hear is like, okay, Shawn, I want you to tell us directly. Terrence Crawford was a harder fight, bigger puncher, more skilled fighter than Errol Spence when you fought Errol Spence. That's what we want to hear. That's what I'm not saying that's the case, but that's what we're waiting for. That's what we got to ear out. Like, come on, Shawn, just say it. Shawn never really said it. Even after when, everything was cleared, the check was cleared, all that good stuff. He might still be waiting on pay-per-view points, but they didn't sell that many pay-per-views, so I don't think it would take that long for him to get his money. But he might still be saying the same thing. But for him to just praise Ugas the way he does, that also goes back to what I was just saying, where it's like, well, Ugas is a part of PBC, so it makes more sense to say, hey, I'm going to praise a guy in Ugas who's a part of the PBC family. I'm still a part of it, of the entity in some way, because they still, give me jobs as analysts, et cetera, et cetera. Or at the very end of the day, I had the longest working relationship with PBC, so I'll never bash them, or I'll never do something to make it seem like their fighters aren't the best, et cetera, or do something to make them lose money or seem like I'm taking away eyes off of them. Let me put out there, Ugas is above Spence. Ugas is a better fighter than Spence, even though I wasn't necessarily willing to say that about Terrence Crawford, but Terrence Crawford stopped and beat me. Errol beat me on a close decision. Ugas lost to me that some people thought Ugas was robbed of. You know what I'm saying? But I can acknowledge Ugas because Ugas is under PBC. Errol Spence is under PBC. Me saying this makes people be like, this is a closer fight than expected. So it goes along with business. It makes more people interested in the fight. It makes people think it's a more competitive fight than it might be. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be a competitive fight. I'm all in for this fight. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. But I'm just telling you from a business aspect, from a marketing aspect point of view, that's the route you want to go when it comes to Shawn Porter. If you, got some ties, or you got some love, or you got some, a certain type of relationship with PBC now, and also you want to, continue to have that relationship with them and increase it as you go into the future. So Shawn Porter, Porter didn't even mention whether Spence was number 4 on his list. You wonder if he believes something else like Jerome Boots and it's being better than him. Anyways, so apparently he was asked who is his top 3 welterweights right now. Shawn Porter's top 3 was number 1, Terrence Crawford. So He just basically debunked everything I said. He gave Terrence Crawford his part. Number 2 is Keith Thurman. People, Keith Thurman. God, I'm not gonna, because if I get too crazy, my mouth's gonna start hurting. I got the antibiotics and stuff. I got the ibuprofen, so I'm a little subdued right now. Everything is numb. But y'all see the number 2 is Keith Thurman. Shawn Porter. Boxers know the respect Keith Thurman needs to get. When Keith Thurman is motherfucking that guy, in the sense of he's training, he's healthy, and he's serious. Thurman's that dude, man. And then he has Ugas. So no Errol Spence. This is what he ends up saying. I think Ugas, be flirting with number 3 in terms of competition. Number 1 and 2 are Terrence Crawford, and believe it or not, Keith Thurman, said Porter, and making it clear. And I got guys, anyone who wants to be offended by this, if you're an Errol Spence fan, I can understand it, because you have to understand. Number 1 is Terrence Crawford. First time he was ever dominated like that. Shawn Porter, okay? Number 2, well, the first time he was ever dominated like that, other than Kell Brook. But number 2, and you see how salty he is toward Kell Brook. You see, Kell Brook ain't there, but he should be. But number 2 is Ugas, a guy that we arguably said, hey, if you watch that fight back 10 out of 10 times, you're going to be split to say who actually won the fight. 5 out of those 10 times you watch it, you're going to say Spence. The other 5, Ugas. And then I said Ugas, excuse me. Number 2, he had Keith Thurman there. I'm sorry, guys. I got a little mixed up there. So number 2, he has Keith Thurman because it was the other person who definitively beat Porter, just like Terrence Crawford, just like Kell Brook, which really his top 3 should be Terrence Crawford, Keith Thurman, and Kell Brook, because Terrence Crawford gave him one of the most lopsided defeats of his career. Keith Thurman also definitively beat Porter. It was a unanimous decision. If you think it was closer than what it was, we watched the fight. Thurman was not in trouble at all. And third, it really should be Kell Brook, because Kell Brook also gave Porter one of his most definitive losses of his career, but Porter was young, so I understand why Porter's kind of, axing that out. So with that being said, he puts Ugas, because Ugas is something that we all remember, and a lot of people say, hey, it was a 50-50 fight. There's a possibility if you watch that, 10 times, 5 times you'll go for Porter, other 5 times you go for Ugas. So, and then when it comes to Errol, remember, he did lose, but that was the closest fight he had with the fighter other than Ugas. Ugas and Errol arguably is kind of in the same boat. Errol, I say, still definitively beat Shawn because he got that knockdown at the end, but it wasn't more impressive than what Kell Brook did to him. So I think that's a slight at Kell, but everyone's always slighting Kell. Real quick, I'm gonna read this. I know a lot of people would expect me to say Errol. People talk about the intelligence that Errol has. Keith Thurman is highly intelligent. I would be remiss if I didn't say on the Porterway podcast, he came on and broke down to me how he broke down the fight before we got in the ring. Keith is in a position now where I think we'll see his intelligence over anything else he has to offer. We love the power, but at some point, if you're not focused on the power and you're not continuing to grow your power, that was Keith's thing since we were kids. So I love that, man. He's just giving, a lot of praise towards Keith Thurman, something that a lot of people just aren't doing right now. I'm not going to keep reading the quote. Actually, there's a video out on Fight Hype where this is all coming from. Maybe I'll react to that tomorrow, maybe not. Either way, what do you guys think about this particular video? I want to know you guys' opinion as always. Do you agree with Shawn Porter saying that Ugas is above Spence? Do you agree with him saying his number 1 welterweight, or at least in his opinion, when it comes to who he's fought, is Terrence Crawford? Then it goes Keith Thurman, and then it goes Ugas, and then lastly, he didn't name anyone after, but arguably I would say it either have to be Errol Spence or Kell Brook. So let me know you guys' opinion below. Comment, like, subscribe. Y'all know how hard this is for me to make this video. It's fucking hurting for me to talk, but I love boxing so much. I love y'all, Black Goose family. You know what I'm saying? I can't not share this shit. You feel me? So as always, show some love to your boy, and I'm out.